Board participants, yeah. Okay. Yes. Everyone, very good evening to all of you. I'm really very sorry for the technical problem which happened. Okay. So, without wasting any further time, let's start with the chapter of capital gain, which we are about to revise currently. Okay. So, it's our target to revise capital gain and income from other sources so that we can finish our all the heads of the income. Okay. Are you able to hear me correctly? Is everything going fine, guys? Sir, chat open कर दीजिए ना बाजू में. सबको म्यूट कर दीजिए लगे तो.
Connected, most connected.
अच्छा, ग्रेट. कर दीजिए ओपन. लाइट नहीं आती उसमें, क्या पता. हाँ, it's working, I think. Yeah, it's there. Good evening, yeah, clear, so great. Perfect. Okay, great then. Let's, without wasting any further time, let's quickly start with our time here. Okay. Now here further, see here in the capital gain, the most important thing, the charging section, as I've said you, all the sections, all the heads of the income has their door, and one have to enter this door to get that tax to be charged. There is always a trigger point, a bell point which would be there, after which this door will open and you have to go under the head. In capital gains, it's said in this way, see, pay attention. Any profit and gain from arising from transfer of capital asset shall be chargeable under the head capital gains in the previous year in which transfer took place. See the three things which are highlighted. It's very, very important. It says that for capital gain to be taxable, first thing is that there should be a capital asset. Second is thing that there should be the transfer of such capital asset, and and if these two things are there, capital gains will be taxable in the year of the transfer generally. Okay, there are certain exceptions for this that we'll see later on. There are 4 exceptions that we'll see later on. So for getting anything taxed under the head capital gain, what is important is that there should be a capital asset which should be transferred, and then if this happen, thereafter it will be taxed in the year of the transfer. Okay, so now here further, what do you mean by capital asset? That should be the first question. So here for definition, they have given it amazingly. While saying it, what they said further, the first part is that the property of any kind held by SSC, whether or not connected with business, property of any kind. मतलब पहले उन्होंने बता दिया भाई, definition is ocean. Do you take any type of property, that will be a capital asset. So they have first take the definition as an ocean. Okay, and then they said that let's take out some of the thing which will be not a capital asset. So they have taken out 4 to 5 things from the same. Which are these 4 to 5 things which are not considered in the capital assets? First thing is that stock in trade, because that's done in the PGBP. So पहली चीज जो हमने यहाँ से निकाल दी is stock in trade. Next thing is your personal movable asset. Personal movable asset. Remember this, not only movable asset. We have said personal movable asset. So if any asset is of business, will that be capital asset? Yes. Until unless it is not stock. Other than that, any personal movable asset will not be a capital asset. But when they said that let's remove personal movable asset also from the definition of capital asset, उनको याद आया, अरे wait, इसमें तो बहुत सारी चीजें जो बाहर चले गई है, उन कुछ चीजों को हम वापस अंदर डाल देते हैं. Which are the certain things which are again put back from the personal movable asset in the definition of capital asset is JDPSAO, jewelry, drawing, painting, sculpture, any other archaeological collection, any other work of art. So first again remember definition. First they have said that everything is capital asset. Then they have removed certain things from the definition of the capital asset. The first thing removed was stock in trade. The next thing removed was personal movable asset. But then they remember and wait, certain things let's put back. That is jewelry, drawing, painting, sculpture, archaeological collection, any other work of art. That will be considered as your capital asset. Then what they have what they have taken out, rural agriculture land in India. Okay, if you have any kind of rural agriculture land in India, even that has been removed. Now, what is agriculture land? That we'll see later on. The fourth thing which they removed is gold deposit bonds under the gold monetization scheme. And the next thing which they removed was special bearer bonds issued by central government. So if 5 things they have removed from the definition of capital asset, but from that also in person movable asset, they have put in certain things again back into the definition, which are jewelry, drawing, painting, sculpture, any other work of art. Okay. Now, what is agriculture land? So what they say when they are explaining the agriculture land, so they say it like this, see, if the population of a village is 10,000, if the population of village is 10,000, so whatever are the city boundaries, they themselves will become the capital. What do we say? They themselves will become, whatever are the city boundaries, the land inside this will be the rural agriculture, rural land, urban land, and outside this will be the rural land. Okay. Further, if the population of city is 10,000 to 1 lakh, in this case, whatever is the boundary of this village, from this you go to 2 kilometers. Okay, I will just explain it here. Wait a minute. See, first they said that if the village has a population of 10,000, so whatever is the boundary of the village, inside will be urban, outside will be rural. If the population is about 10,000 to 1 lakh, from this city boundary you go up to 2 kilometers. The inside will be urban, outside will be rural. If the population is 1 lakh to 10 lakhs, from city boundaries you go up to 6 kilometers. City boundaries is 6 kilometers. Inside will be urban, rural, urban, outside will be rural. And the city population is more than 10 lakhs, you go up to 8 kilometers. Inside would be rural, outside would be urban. Opposite, sorry. So city के अंदर वाली रहेगी urban, बाहर का वाला रहेगा rural. Such rural agriculture land, if sold, that will be not considered in the definition of capital asset itself, and hence there will be no capital gain for the same. Further, so this was the definition of capital asset. This is what we have learned. So if there is transfer of such capital assets, it is there for capital gains. Okay. Now, the another interesting feature of this scheme that it should be a transfer. Transfer means what? It can be anything: sale, exchange, relinquishment, extinguishment. आपने छोड़ दिया है, किसी से चेंज कर दिया है, आपने हक छोड़ दिया है, कंपलसरी एक्विजिशन किया आपके लैंड का कोई भी लॉ के अंदर, कन्वर्जन किया आपने कैपिटल एसेट्स को इनटू स्टॉक इन ट्रेड, allowing possession of immovable property someone else to takes by someone else, any transaction which effect of transferring of enabling enjoyment of immovable property or redemption of zero coupon bond, all of them this will be considered as transfer. In short, anything you do will be considered as transfer. So whenever such transfer will happen for any of the immovable property, again I'm saying, whenever this transfer will happen for any of the capital asset, it's going to be known as capital gains. And this capital gains will be this capital gains will be taxable in the year of transfer. Okay. So now types of capital assets. So there are two types of capital assets. One is short-term capital asset, another is long-term capital asset. How these have been divided? So these have been divided like in a three boxes of a train you can remember. Okay. So in the first box there is any securities other than the listed in recognized stock exchange, units of UTI, ZCB, if they held for less than 1 year, short term, more than 1 year, long term. Other than listed, wait a minute, I'm sorry, here the mistake is done. Other than securities, unlisted shares. यहाँ पे mistake है. Any securities which are listed in recognized stock exchange, for them 1 year is the time. Less than 1 year, short term, more than 1 year, long term. यहाँ पे तीन चीजें है. First box में तीन चीजें है. Listed securities, UTI के units, and zero coupon bond. In second box, there are two things: unlisted shares and the immobile property. Again, if this property is hold for 2 years or less, it will be short term, more than 2 years, long term. And third and the last box contain all the other assets. Okay. Now the thing is what, for all the other assets other than this, all this 3 plus 2 5 will be the time limit will be 3 years से कम है तो short term, more than 3 years is going to be long term. So this way how the assets have been decided, short term or long term. Why we have to do this decidation of short term and long term? Because the taxation of short term and long term capital assets depends upon the classification of the assets. Okay, and the tax rate are also different. Further, going further, thereafter a zero coupon bond, and you all know computation of capital assets, capital gains. How we are going to compute the capital gains? So capital gains will be always computed in this following format. First, you take the full value of consideration. Full value of consideration is whatever amount you are selling for. Okay, and whatever amount you are selling, take that first. Then you subtract expenses incurred in connection of transfer of the asset. Whatever expenses you are incurring on transfer of this asset, you subtract the same. Okay. So now after whatever remains that comes to net consideration, but please remember यहाँ पे आप आपका LTT और STT paid नहीं लोगे, that is not allowed here. Thereafter, what is net consideration? From that you can deduct two things: one, cost of acquisition, and cost of improvement if you have done any. And then finally will be your capital gains. Now here, cost of acquisition as well as cost of improvement will be indexed if the type of capital gain is long-term capital gain. Okay, remember this very clearly. Now what is indexation? Indexation means simply multiply for the year of transfer divided by year of acquisition, or in case of improvement, multiply by the year of improvement divided by the CI of the year of uh, in case of improvement, also multiplied by transfer divided by the year of the improvement. Now please remember, what is the CI, cost inflation index? So government of India knows, and everyone knows, that there is inflation every time the value of money gets decreasing, things get expensive, so they give a CI index for all the different years, also depending upon the inflation, average inflation, they give it directly. So to consider our cost of acquisition also rising with terms of your CI index, this will be released with the government of India. So now here what we have to do is that if your gains are long-term capital gains, in this case, whatever is your cost of acquisition or whatever is your cost of improvement, you multiply it with the CI of the year of transfer. Please remember, this is CI of the year of transfer, not of the year of sale, because sometimes transfer is some another part and sale कोई और साल में हुआ होता है. So आपको यहाँ पे हमेशा याद रखना है CI of the year of transfer divided by CI of the year of acquisition or CI of the year of improvement. Okay, so this will automatically inflate your cost and then it will give you current price as per the inflation. So you reduce this from your net consideration and you get your capital gains. Now CI has been given for all the different years by the government of India. If it would be earlier years, CI would be given to you in a question. आपको पिछले सालों को याद करने की जरूरत नहीं है. But for your current year, you must remember the CI. With this, come on, say me, what's the CI for your current year, guys? What is the CI for your current year? Everyone, come on, quickly say me answer. Very good. Yashwas is there with 348. Perfect. The CI for the current year is 348. So please remember, sometimes what happens in examination, we get confused कि ऊपर क्या लेना, नीचे क्या लेना है. तो अगर आप ऊपर छोटा नंबर ले लोगे, नीचे बड़ा नंबर लोगे, तो आपका कॉस्ट कम हो जाएगा. आपको कॉस्ट बढ़ाना है, सो ऑलवेज टेक ऊपर बड़ा वाला नंबर, नीचे छोटा वाला नंबर. बट बड़ा वाला नंबर मतलब कौन सा नंबर? CI ऑफ द ईयर ऑफ ट्रांसफर, नॉट द ईयर ऑफ सेल. ऑलवेज you say the word transfer only, because there are 4 such cases where transfer year is separate and taxation year is separate. Okay, further, the first provision of this capital gain, which talks about non-resident. If a non-resident acquires Indian shares and debentures through foreign currency, in that case, what happens? What we'll do? We'll convert his foreign currency into Indian currency. Cost of acquisition को हम average rate पे लेंगे, buying और selling rate के. Transfer expenditure को भी हम average rate पे लेंगे. Sale consideration also will take out average rate. And final capital gain, whatever will come, we'll calculate everything in the rupees. And then final capital gain, whatever comes, will be converting into the buying rate. So that the taxation will be calculated for the in rupees, not in foreign currency for him. Thereafter, the third provision is that not applicable for computation of first and second provision is not applicable for computation long-term capital gain in equity shares, equity oriented units of business trust, which says that this indexation वाला जो first provision था ना, just a minute, हाँ, yeah, no, sorry, yeah, in case this first provision of non-resident wala is not applicable in the case of equity shares, equity oriented units and units of business trust. Further, fourth proviso is about your debentures and index bonds of indexation. It says that no indexation will be given for any debenture and bonds. No indexation will be given for any bonds and debentures except द कैपिटल इंडेक्सेशन बॉन्ड, बिकॉज उसके नाम में ही कैपिटल इंडेक्सेशन दिया हुआ है. तो आपके बॉन्ड्स और डिबेंचर्स के ऊपर इवन दो दे आर लॉन्ग टर्म, यू वोंट गेट एनी इंडेक्सेशन का बेनिफिट. Okay, so if you and about your gold, sovereign gold, if you transfer it before maturity, no capital gain. Redemption on maturity, no capital gain, because that is exempt, not covered under the definition of capital asset, sovereign gold bonds. But if you transfer before maturity, capital gain would be applicable. Further, the next is foreign exchange fluctuation on rupee denominated bond. Again, the next is one more provision made for foreign SSCs if they invest into any rupee denominated bond. In this case, What will happen? See, if they invest into rupee denominated bond, whatever is the gain up to due to the change of foreign currency rate, that the gain will be left out, and the balance gain would be the actual gain on the bonds they will be getting it. Further, if there is loss in foreign currency, loss can be set off, but foreign currency fluctuation से कोई gain हुआ है तो वो ignore कर देंगे. What does it exactly means? For example, say the total gain in the rupee denominated bond to a non-resident SSE is say 1,300 total gain. Now from this, say 1,000 was due to foreign currency fluctuation. Okay, and 300 was actual gain on the bonds. So 300 will be taxable. This has to be ignored because this was because of the fluctuation in the currency. But see, so profit हुआ तो ignore कर रहे हैं, और अगर किसी foreigner ने invest किया, okay, and say the total gain was again say 1,500, and there was loss of 300 because of foreign fluctuation. So loss will be allowed to set off, but profit will be ignored. Such a good provision has been done to make attract foreign investor. Again, understand this. Foreign currency के fluctuation की वजह से loss हुआ will let you set off. But because of foreign currency, if you gained it, we will ignore it. We won't tax you. We will tax only and only purely return from the debentures. That to reduce if you have got loss in the foreign currency. I'm not going into detail for the same because it itself takes around 45 minutes to explain you correctly and perfectly. Further, as I've said you before as well, in case of capital gains, you will never get the deduction for STT and STT paid. Whereas in case of PGBP, you will get the deduction for STT paid. Further, cost of acquisition for improved cost of acquisition. Please remember, if there is any intangible asset, in case of goodwill, trademark, brand name, right to manufacture, right to carry, tenancy right, LUMARs, route permits, there are all type of intangible assets. If they are self-generated, आपने खुद ने generate करके balance sheet में लिखा है, its value will be taken as nil whenever you sell them. And if you purchase from someone, then the purchase price will be taken as the value of such intangible assets. Further, if you get any bonus share are the share which the shareholder get for free. So if the bonus share have been received after 1/4/2001, we will take the cost of acquisition of such bonus share as 0. But if you got this bonus share before 1/4/2001, the cost of acquisition would be the fair market value as on 1/4/2001. Further, if there in case of right shares, now right shares there can be a variety of things that can be done from right shares. So please pay attention. I will give an example to you. If there is a person, say I am the person, I got rights in Reliance. The right says that I can purchase the share of Reliance for 2,000, whereas current trading market value is 3,000. Okay, so option 1, I purchased share. So cost of acquisition of the share will be always 2,000. Option 2, I renounce this share to someone else. मैंने मेरे दोस्त को ये बेच दिए rights 500 rupees में. So 500 will be taxable here for me. Cost of acquisition would be 0 for this rights and 500 would be taxable here. And for my friend who purchased this, for him the cost would be 2,000 paid to Reliance plus 500 paid to me. Cost of acquisition to my friend would be 2,500. Everyone clear? So why my friend will purchase it from me? Because see, if he goes in the market and he purchases there, he will get it for 3,000. But because I'm the shareholder of Reliance, I'm just getting it for 2,000. I'm having 500 rupees profit, still it is beneficial for him. So if he want, he can do the trade. Okay. So cost of acquisition for him will be 2,500. For me, being rights, मुझे तो free में मिला हुआ है, would be 0 cost of acquisition, which we are allowed to deduct from the net consideration. And and if I myself purchase the rights, then whatever cost I pay to the Reliance will become the cost of acquisition. Everyone clear? Yes, everyone clear with the rights? Everyone clear? Any queries so far? Okay, let's go further. ये corporation वाला तो ठीक है. Now, further, if the asset is acquired before 1/4/2001, take the cost of acquisition or fair market value as per 1/4/2001, whichever is higher. Okay, if the asset is acquired after 1 for 2001, you always take the cost of acquisition itself. Again, I am saying, अगर आपकी कोई भी asset है जो आपने 1/4/2001 के पहले ली है, take your cost of acquisition or fair market value as on this date, whichever is higher. If your asset is after that, take the cost of acquisition itself as the cost of acquisition. कोई इंप्रूवमेंट किया है, जितनी बार भी इंप्रूवमेंट किया वो भी ले लो. Again, you will get indexation benefit. Indexation benefit if you are capital gain is type of long term capital gain. Long term, short term कैसे decide करेंगे? Once again, I'm repeating it. We had 3 blocks. First block had listed shares, second ZCB, and 3 UTI units. Second block has first immovable property, second unlisted shares, and third all other shares. Depending upon this has a limit of 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. According to them, if less than the required limit years, it would be short term. Above than it would be long term. Going further, let's go to the interesting. One more interesting part is there of the chapter capital gain. Now, in the first definition itself, we have learned what that there should be a capital asset, there should be a transfer of such capital asset, and if that happens, the capital gains will be taxable in the year of transfer. But there are 4 exceptions to this, which says that capital gain will not taxable in the year of transfer, but some else year. So, what are these 4 different exceptions? First exception, when the conversion of capital asset has been done into stock in trade. See, what is this means? For example, okay, say this is the jewelry of of one's wife at their home. So jewelry of one's wife at home will be a capital asset, yes or no? Come on, say me. Come on, say me your answer, guys. No one is saying in the Zoom. क्या YouTube पे मजा आती है आपको? यहाँ पे आंसर नहीं देने मजा नहीं आ रही है? Everyone say me. Jewelry of one's wife, will that be a capital asset or not? Yashwat say yes. Only Yashwat is saying yes. Madhav is saying yes. What about others? Yes, Rashmika is saying yes. Perfect. Very good. So jewelry of a wife is a capital asset, as even though this person movable property, but certain person movable property are included in the definition of capital assets, hence jewelry was included here. Now, the person does what? Say वो अभी एक ज्वेलरी की शॉप डाल रहा है. Okay, so he's converting and he's putting this jewelry to be showcased in his shop. एक कस्टमर आया, इसको ये बहुत अच्छा लगा, वो ये ज्वेलरी परचेज करके लेके चले गया. Okay, so now we purchased this jewelry in 2010. We opened the shop in 2015 and it was नहीं 2020 कर देते हैं इसको हम 15 कर देते हैं. And the person purchases for 2024. Okay, so now see, this is the pure case when a capital asset is converted into stock in trade and thereafter it was sold. So what happens in this condition? See what it says, that when you took this asset into your store, on that day check the fair market value of the asset. The difference between these two will be known as capital gains, and the fair market value asset and difference between sales amount will be known as PGBP. Okay, so now here, but the interesting thing is that even though capital asset आपको 2020 में पता चल गया था कि कितना capital gain आने वाला है, but this will be not charged to you until unless this asset is actually sold, because then the amount is realized, right? So as soon as the asset is sold, this capital gain will be taxable. For this capital gain to get taxable, the transfer year would be what? 2020, because that was the year when the asset was transferred to the stock in trade. But sales year would be what? 2024. So this is one of the exception when the capital gain is not taxed in the year of transfer but the year of sale. Everyone clear? So capital gain, whatever it would be that you keep it calculated with you, it will be taxable in the year when the jewelry was actually being sold. Okay. Next, the next exemption, the next exception to that rule is that when the where is it gone? Yeah, when the compensation is given on the compulsory acquisition of land. Now even government, even income tax authorities knows that जब कभी भी किसी की लैंड एक्वायर की जाती है, सो एक्वायर तो 2010 में कर दी गई थी, बट कंपेंसेशन दिया 2024 में. दे गिव अ लॉट लेट कंपेंसेशन मेनी टाइम्स. Okay, so now here when the asset was been acquired by the government, that year is known as transfer year, but when the compensation is received as such, compensation is received, वो year में ये taxable होगा. So again an exception to the rule that capital gain is taxable in the year of transfer. In this, it is not taxable in the year of transfer because transfer year was the when compulsory acquisition took place. But taxable year will be when the final compensation is been received. Now the compensation, there are three types. Interim compensation. So once you get an interim compensation, do nothing. Wait for the final compensation. If you have got initial compensation, as soon as you get initial compensation, sorry, interim compensation, हाँ, interim compensation में अगर कोर्ट ने कुछ interim compensation आपको दिया हुआ है, forget it, do nothing. Okay, wait for the final order. Whereas initial compensation, as soon as you receive initial compensation in the name of initial compensation, even though that be 10%, 20% or 30%, as soon as you receive, your capital gain will be taxable. Okay, so even though my asset was been acquired in the year 2020, if I got money initial compensation in 2023, so my taxable will be capital gain will be taxable in the year 2023, even though transfer year was 2020. So this is the another exception for the rule. Again, now here what you will do while calculating it, full net consideration would be full value of whatever amount you have sold minus transfer expenditure will become your net consideration, minus you will do index cost of acquisition and improvement if they are there, if it is long term gain. Okay, so that becomes your capital gain here. Further, if you then you go to the court, आपको लग रहा है compensation कम है, compensation बढ़ाना चाहिए, तो government ने अगर कोई interim compensation दिया है, don't worry at all. Government whatever does the final order, take that compensation, subtract any litigation expenditure and the rest is fully taxable. Please say यहाँ पे आप वापस cost of acquisition less नहीं करोगे. Why? Because when you got the initial, there itself you have reduced the cost of acquisition and cost of improvement. So whatever that has to be done, that is done here. You can't reduce this two times for the same land. For the next part, you only reduce the litigation expenditure and the balance will be taxable under the head income from capital gains. Third exception for this rule of transfer year is separate and taxable year is separate is the insurance claim received on the damage or destruction of capital asset. से मेरी ट्रक कहीं से तो भी जा रही थी, अचानक वो खाई में गिर गई, मेरा जितना भी स्टॉक, मेरे स्टॉक नहीं, मेरे जितने भी कैपिटल एसेट थे सब चले गए. ओके, सो इन दिस केस अब क्या होगा, अब इंश्योरेंस कंपनी आएगी, वो देखेगी, वो सब कुछ सोचेगी, इन्वेस्टिगेशन करेगी, फिर वो क्लेम पास करेगी, उसको 1-2 साल मिनिमम लग जाएगी. सो एज द ईयर व्हेन द ईयर द डिस्ट्रक्शन हैपेंड, दैट ईयर विल बी माय, yes, that year will be my transfer year. But when I will get the final compensation, that year will be my what do we say, when I will get my final compensation, that year will be my actual taxable year. So आप capital gain तो calculate करके रख दोगे, but it will be taxed in the year when you will get the final compensation. Everyone clear? Will you remember this? Further, and the last, capital gain in case of joint development agreement. Before going to that, please let me know everyone that are you all sure आपको ये तीनों कंडीशन अच्छे से याद आई है. फर्स्ट, कैपिटल एसेट कन्वर्टेड इनटू स्टॉक इन ट्रेड. सेकंड, destruction of the asset. Third, compulsory acquisition. And if you are done with all of the three, then we'll go to the fourth and the last, that is joint development agreement. Come on everyone, say me, shall we go to that or not? Say me yes or no. Okay, so next and the last is joint development agreement. Okay, now what happens in this, say pay attention everyone. Say I have a land, someone else has the money to construct a building. So हम दोनों एक agreement में जाते हैं जहाँ पे I provide my land, he provide his building, construction cost and everything and expertise as well. So now in this case, now say the land, the transfer year will be when I give possession to him to make the building over my land. That will be transfer year. And capital gain will be when we will get the completion certificate for the building. Okay, so the transfer year is the year when I handed over in the possession of the land, and completion certificate जब मिलेगा हमारे building को, that would be the taxable year. So please remember, in all these four conditions, whatever is your cost of acquisition or cost of improvement, if there has to be index, please multiply with the CI of the year of transfer, not the year of sale or any other. Okay, so in this case, in joint development agreement, whatever amount I have received in cash, मतलब जो भी amount पहले cash या बैंक जैसे भी मुझे मिली है at the transfer of the land, that will be my consideration, plus whatever number of flats or apartment or whatever it may be I have got, उसका as on date of CC, completion certificate, whatever will be the value, that much would be the net consideration. उसमें से अगर कुछ index cost of acquisition वगैरह है लैंड का, वो माइनस करूंगा, बचा हुआ पूरा मेरा कैपिटल गेन हो जाएगा. Taxable year in the year when the CC of the same has been received. So these are the four different conditions, situations where the normal rule of capital gain taxable in the year of transfer is not applicable, but some other year of taxable is there. Okay, with this, you get this another summary for you where everything of this has been covered very nicely, where I have given you everything, right? Year of conversion, year of acquisition, destruction year, sorry, this is all the four situations. Okay, year of transfer and year of tax, both has been very clearly mentioned for all the four situations. Come on, everyone, please take a once more screenshot with my good photo. Okay, just do it, guys. Just take the screenshot of the same and remember it. Go through it, everyone. Let me know if you have any query in any of the situation. आप फोटो नहीं लोगे ना, मैं आपको मेरे अच्छे पोजीशन में, तो फिर मैं आपको चार्ट ही नहीं दिखाऊंगा नेक्स्ट टाइम से. Everyone, come on, say me yes or no. Are you clear with the chart? Let me see whom of you are joining the meeting. कितने जन हो जो आंसर नहीं देते हो? Anaga, I never got answer from you. Anu, I never got answer from you. Ashmit, Ashwini, चिदानंद, दिशा, सबको पकड़ पकड़ के लेना आना पड़ेगा मुझे क्लास में. कीर्तना, प्रवीण, रश्मिता आंसर, स्मिता, श्रीदिश, स्नेहा नेवर आंसर्ड इट, सुकृति नेवर आंसर्ड इट, सुरक्षा ने कभी आंसर नहीं दिया. क्या करते, क्या आप लोग सोते रहते हो क्या? अभी तक सो रहे हो? Only Elvin anyways answer it. None of them whose name I have taken answered anything yet. No, yes, no, nothing. Sleeping in the last bench, even in the virtual class. अरे उठो, नींद में से उठो, कुछ तो बोलो. Okay, let's go further. Now, transfer of capital asset by partner to partnership firm. Please take whatever the value of book was there. Transfer of capital asset from firm to partner. Okay, in this case, take the fair market value. Please remember, when partner will give to partnership firm, take the book value. But when partnership firm will give to partner, we don't trust it. Take the fair market value. Okay. Thereafter, stamp. Yeah, this is very, very important section. Section 50C is one of the most important section for you. Okay. What section 50C says that? Pay attention, everyone. See, whatever is your sell consideration. Okay. At whatever amount you have made your sell consideration. इससे हम 110 मतलब इससे हम 110% करेंगे इसका. केस 1, if your SDV is within this, no problem, that's great. The fair value of consideration would be the sale consideration which you have taken it, no issue. Case 2, sale consideration is this, यहाँ से 110% हम गए. Now SDV is beyond this. Therefore, full value of consideration will be SDV. Most important section here. Okay, so I'll give an example. Say ये हमारा 100 lakhs का सेल कंसिडरेशन था, 110 यहाँ पर आता है, SDV से 105 था, no problem, this is 100 only. But in another case 100 का सेल कंसिडरेशन था, 110 का आपका ये था, 110% आपको जाने के बाद SDV आपका 120 है, सेल कंसिडरेशन would be SDV. So whenever your SDV is more than 110% of your stamp duty of your sale consideration, it means कुछ तो गड़बड़ है. और when कुछ तो गड़बड़ है, in that case you will be charged that full value of consideration at the SDV directly. We won't even ask you single question. इसके साथ आपको income tax की अलग notice अलग आएगी. Okay, everyone clear? Just write down if you want to this. Further, I feel that this SDV is not correct. I feel that कुछ तो गड़बड़ है SDV में. SDV बहुत ज़्यादा इतनी है ही नहीं. So I can go to my assessing officer who will go to valuation officer if he feels fine, and then we ask them to revalue it. If he revalues it and if he increases it, so ignore कर दो आप उसको, no problem. But if decreases it, then great, accept it. Such a good condition given to you. Okay, so there is two part of this. Actually, there are three parts of the section 50C. पहला तो SDV का 110% वाला part हो गया, and second is this part of valuation officer. Okay, and third one more part is there यार. और एक part क्या था? Wait a minute, just let me remember. Yes, हाँ. The third part of this section is that generally we will take the date of SDV as on date of agreement. Okay, but if you have received something advance, sorry, generally we'll take the date as of registration. Let me check once registration here now. So generally we take the date as for registration. But if you have received some advance in bank account, okay, in banking channel, so हम date of agreement ले लेंगे. तो आप बोलोगे sir इससे what is the benefit? So see what happens, the SDV keeps on rising. Okay, so agreement is the last stage of selling of your flat or purchasing your flat. So we take the SDV as on date of agreement. But if you have done some transaction, some advance as on date of agreement, जो कि पहले होता है, in that case, that would be great. So आपको हम benefit देंगे. You can take SDV as on agreement as well. But only remember, it has to be done through banking channel, through account pay, cross check or something, bank credit or something like that, which can be proved later on as well. Everyone clear? Okay. This is very important section, section 50C. The same section is given in your PGBP as well, section 43CA. So if you are holding a asset as capital asset, section 50C will be applicable. If you are holding asset as your stock in trade, 43CA would be applicable. Okay, then there is one more interesting thing for advance money forfeited. If you forfeit any advance money which you have received for flat, मतलब advance money forfeit मतलब पैसा किसी का जब्त कर दिया. If this happened before 1/4/2014, you would reduce this from your cost of acquisition before indexation. And if it happened after the 1/4/14, then simply charge into your income from other sources in the respective financial year. So अभी किसी ने भी किसी का भी मनी फॉरफिट किया है, मतलब कोई मेरे पास कुछ फ्लैट लेने आया, मुझे 1 लाख डिपॉजिट दिया, पर वापस लेने आया ही नहीं. So such deposit forfeiture will be taxed under the head income from other sources now. But if it is of before 1/4/2014, in that case, it will be reduced from the cost of acquisition before indexation. Okay. Thereafter, slump sale. Slump sale means a wholesale sale, in which we won't classify anything like machinery, electricity, building, land, or say capital asset, नॉन कैपिटल एसेट, ऐसा कुछ हम क्लासीफाई नहीं कर रहे. इनफैक्ट स्टॉक भी सब कुछ मिला के एक साथ सेल कर दिया किसी को. स्लम सेल इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. इसके ऊपर एक क्वेश्चन है. दैट सेम क्वेश्चन कम्स फॉर सीए फाइनल एज वेल समटाइम फॉर 8 marks, 6 to 8 marks, and it has came many time for intermediate as well. So please do that question very nicely. So slump sale, whenever you do a slump sale, what will happen guys? See, you will take whatever amount you received for this lump sale, which is for the total lump sum amount, you take as full value of consideration. Whatever is your transfer expenditure, you subtract them, the next it will be your net consideration. Okay. Now whatever is your cost of indexation, now whatever is your cost of acquisition, there is no indexation benefit available. Now what is the cost of acquisition? The cost of acquisition is nothing but the net worth of undertaking. What is net worth of undertaking? Means all the assets minus all liabilities. Now what about assets? Assets skill time, आपकी जो भी depreciable assets थी, take the WDV of the same. और आपकी जो भी liability, take the book value of the same. You subtract all assets from your liabilities, and then whatever is remaining, that is net worth, which will become your cost of acquisition here. Okay, and then subtracted, your capital gain would be there. Capital gain would be short term if you are if you had this undertaking for less than 3 months. It will be long term if you had this undertaking for more than 3 years. Everyone clear? Very important. Just go through it once, guys. Let me see the question is given for this lump sum. Just a minute. Let me import your books. Other source, yeah. यार वहाँ पे वो यूट्यूब पे अभी भी 4-5 जन बैठे हुए बेचारे यूट्यूब पे. आई एम सॉरी, आई एम सीइंग योर मैसेज नाउ. टुमारो it will be uploaded. See the same. Okay, let me just go to the stump cell. Yeah, this is the only there I feel. Correct. Stump cell. See, this is the question here. What the question suggests? See, pay attention, everyone. Mr. A is a proprietor of Akash Enterprise having two units. Unit 1, Unit 2. Has transferred one. He has transferred on 1423 Unit 1 by way of slum cell for total consideration. This has been sold for total consideration of 25 lakh rupees. So this will become full value of consideration. The fair market value of the capital asset as on 1/4/2023 is 30 lakhs. Unit 1 was started in the year 2005-6, so it will be long-term capital gain as it is more than 3 years. The expense incurred for the transfer of 28,000. So 25 lakhs minus 28,000 will be your net consideration. See the same thing they're done. Wait a minute. Ha. Also, yes, please remember, you will take the full value of at what you have transferred or the value as on date of your market value as on date, whichever is higher. So we took 30 lakh rupees as whichever is higher. You subtract, just a second. You subtract the transfer expenditure, then whatever is remaining from that's your net consideration, and from this you subtract your net worth. Now see, for net worth they have given you information. Revaluation reserve is created by revising upward the value of building of unit 1. So what is revaluation reserve, guys? Revaluation reserve 3 lakhs जो इसको upward करके बनाया हुआ है. So revaluation reserve is not allowed. तो हम ये 2 lakh 12 lakhs minus 3 lakh कर देंगे. So building we took just 9 lakh rupees, guys. Further, no individual value of any asset is considered in transfer deed. Yeah, that's perfect. That's a slum cell. Other assets of Unit 1 includes patent acquired on 1/7/21 for 50,000, which no depreciation has been charged. तो हम इसको depreciation charge कर देंगे और balance amount पे हम asset में add कर देंगे. Rest asset is what, guys, here for Unit 1? Bank loan आपका loan है और trade creditors 1.5 lakh है. So see here, machinery we took 3 lakhs, debtors we took 1 lakh, patents के ऊपर हमने depreciation charge किया and we took 28,125. Other assets were 1 lakh. You subtract all the creditors which were in respect of Unit 1. The net worth came to 12 lakh 50,000. See patent depreciation as well. Just go through the working note, guys. Ask me a few other queries. So net worth came to 12 lakh 50,000 जो कि हम subtract करेंगे हमारे net consideration में से, and the balance will be taxable under long-term capital gain. Only remember that the sale amount you will get the fair market value of your all assets, everything, or else the sale value, whichever is higher. Okay, just go through it, everyone. Ask me if you have any queries. एवरीवन क्लियर? कम ऑन से मी यस और नो. इस बार मुझे सब नए नए नाम दिखने चाहिए. हाँ, ये क्लियर में. नहीं तो सी आई एम इन उडुपी ओनली, आप सबके घर पे आ जाऊंगा मैं शाम में ही। यस श्रीनिधि गॉट टू अंडरस्टूड। अरे वाई पीपल आर सो अफ्रेड लेफ्ट करके जा रहे हैं क्लास, बिकॉज मैं उनके घर पे आऊंगा इसलिए। ओके, पे अटेंशन। Further, let's continue with our part. So this was all about your slum cell. So summary is given here. See, in these four cases, indexation benefit will be not allowed. In these four cases, indexation benefit is not allowed. First, capital gain in case of non-resident. Okay. Second, capital gain in case of debentures and bonds. लेकिन इसके अंदर जो आपके कैपिटल इंडेक्सेशन बॉन्ड्स है उसके ऊपर आपको मिल जाएगा, और गोल्ड डिपॉजिटेड बॉन्ड्स है, गोल्ड डिपॉजिट जो बॉन्ड्स है उसके ऊपर भी मिल जाएगा। लिस्टेड इक्विटी शेयर्स, इक्विटी ओरिएंटेड यूनिट्स एंड यूनिट्स ऑफ बिजनेस ट्रस्ट, इसके ऊपर भी नो कैपिटल नो कॉस्ट ऑफ एक्विजिशन। एंड स्लम सेल, स्लम सेल के ऊपर भी आपको कोई कॉस्ट ऑफ इंडेक्सेशन का बेनिफिट नहीं मिलेगा। टेक द स्क्रीनशॉट ऑफ दिस एज वेल, इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट बिकॉज स्टूडेंट्स आर मैक्सिमम टाइम कंफ्यूज हियर, किस चीज के ऊपर मिलेगा किस चीज के ऊपर नहीं मिलेगा। ओके, दिस वाज द सेम थिंग व्हिच यू आर जस्ट सीइंग राइट नाउ। Now, there are such certain 14 or 16 some transactions which are not regarded as transfer. If you again remember the definition, there should be a capital asset and there should be transfer of such capital asset, then capital gain will be taxable in the year of transfer. So हमने ऐसी कुछ चीज बोली है जिसको हम ट्रांसफर समझेंगे ही नहीं, तो ऑटोमेटिकली आपको कैपिटल गेन आएगा ही नहीं। तो ऐसी क्या चीज है जिसको हम कैपिटल ट्रांसफर नहीं समझेंगे एंड हेंस कैपिटल गेन भी नहीं आएगा। लेट्स सी दिस। First, distribution of capital asset on partial or total partition of HUF. HUF, whenever the assets will be transferred in the HUFs, in this case, the distribution of assets in case of transfer of HUF, आपका capital gain नहीं आएगा। Second, transfer of capital asset under gift, will or irrevocable trust. किसी ने किसी को गिफ्ट दिया है, विल से किया, इररिवोकेबल ट्रस्ट से ट्रांसफर किया कैपिटल एसेट, यहाँ पे भी कैपिटल गेन नहीं आएगा बिकॉज इट इज नॉट कंसिडर्ड एज ट्रांसफर। सो इफ एनी ऑफ द 16 सिचुएशन इज देयर इनटू योर आंसर ऑफ द थ्योरेटिकल आंसर, you need to remember that you have to mention it in the same way that the transfer under the gift is not treated as transfer and hence the capital gain tax is not applicable on the same. And in such cases, when there is such transfer of gift or will or equable, and when the further person sells it, the cost of acquisition would be one to the primary owner. जो उसको था वो इसको भी cost of acquisition लग जाएगा. Transfer under amalgamation by amalgamating company to amalgamated company. Transfer capital asset by holding company to subsidiary company. This is also very important condition, huh? Because many times now see what they have said that whenever assets has been transferred from holding company to subsidiary company or subsidiary company to holding company will be again not taxable to capital gain if there is 100% holding and subsidiary relationship happen and जिसको भी asset जा रही है वो Indian company तो आने दो, कोई तकलीफ नहीं है हमें। Understanding everyone? So please remember this in question how they give a question on this the question is given, see नीचे दिया हुआ question, ये क्वेश्चन दिया हुआ आपको। सो आपको वो पूछते हैं कि दैट ए कंपनी इज होल्डिंग बी कंपनी 75% ऑफ शेयर एंड दे आर ट्रांसफरिंग सर्टेन असेट्स ऑफ ए कंपनी टू बी कंपनी, प्लीज एडवाइज देम will it be taxable or not. So first you will say yes it is taxable. Any transfer of capital asset from holding to subsidiary company will be taxable under the capital gain if 100% holding subsidiary relationship is not there and the receiver company is not an Indian company. So in this case, as it is 75%, it will be taxable. Also, they will ask them, please guide them. So in this case, we will guide them that we will say them, please acquire the rest of 25% share and then transfer. So jitna transfer खेलना है खेलते रहो, as there will be no tax thereafter. Okay. Then sixth condition. Cost of acquisition. Cost of acquisition of transfer shall be cost of previous owner. Cost of improvement, as I've said you, कॉस्ट ऑफ एसएससी जो भी रहेगा वो प्रीवियस ओनर का जो रहेगा वही आगे आएगा, कॉस्ट ऑफ इंप्रूवमेंट भी जो प्रीवियस ओनर का रहेगा वही आगे भी लगेगा, और आपने भी कुछ किया तो आपको वो भी मिल जाएगा। एंड इंडेक्सेशन बेनिफिट विल अगेन एप्लीकेबल इफ इट इज लॉन्ग टर्म कैपिटल गेन। नाउ फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ लॉन्ग टर्म कैपिटल गेन हाउ मच टाइम विल यू इंक्लूड हियर? सो राइट फ्रॉम द ट्रांसफर टू, जो आपने पहले आपके प्रीवियस ओनर ने जहां से ट्रांसफर किया था ना वहां से लेके अब तक का फुल टाइम यू विल कंसिडर अंडर द cost of holding period, okay, for the long term or short term capital gain. Sixth situation where the amalgamating company by shareholder in the scheme of amalgamated company. See, amalgamating company, shareholder of amalgamated getting amalgamating company के shares both are exempt. Similarly, demerged company to new resulting company, and again shareholders of result demerged company getting shares of resulting company will be also not treated as transfer. तो दो अमलगमेशन का है, एक कंपनी का, एक शेयर होल्डर का, दो डीमर्जर का है, एक कंपनी का, एक शेयर होल्डर का. ओके, issue relating to company होगा, just I said you. Rupee transfer of rupee denominated bond from Indian company by non-resident to another non-resident. अब ट्रम्प ने बिडेन को रूपी डिनोमिनेटेड बॉन्ड ट्रांसफर कर दिया. आप नहीं भी बोलते तो भी वो आपको आगे टैक्स नहीं पे करने वाले थे, बिकॉज द बोथ द पीपल वेर नॉन रेसिडेंट. सो दे ट्रम्प परचेज द बॉन्ड्स एंड ही सोल्ड इट टू बिडेन. So it will be not taxable in India because even though they were not able to pay, but we too said it कि नहीं भाई हम इसको नहीं लेंगे. No transfer, no capital gain. Further, government securities made outside India by one, just like the rupee denominated bond, even if government securities are transferred from one person to another person outside India, even there will be no capital gain in this case. Further, any transfer of sovereign gold bond before maturity, after maturity, as we have particularly exempted it. Transfer of capital asset being work of art. Now this is also important. Transfer of capital asset, कोई भी अपनी capital asset transfer करता है, which is work of art, archaeological collection, scientific collection, art collection, book, manuscript, drawing, painting, script, to any good university or national museum or national गैलरी और नेशनल अवार्ड अचीव, ऐसे कोई भी जगह पे अगर आप ट्रांसफर करते हो, जितना भी आपको पैसा मिले, विच विल बी नॉट टैक्सेबल बिकॉज इट इज नॉट कंसिडर्ड एज ट्रांसफर. Conversion of bonds and shares or deposit certificates into debentures will be also not considered as transfers. उसके बाद next, conversion of preference share into equity share. This will also be not considered as transferred. And the last is, last second is transfer of capital asset in transaction of reverse mortgage. What is reverse mortgage, guys? See, what happens? Say मैं बहुत old हो चुका हूँ. No one is there with me. No one is there for me to pay for my old age expenditure. But I have my home. So what I do, I mortgage this home to a bank and I take monthly EMIs from them, a monthly loan installment, you can say, for my expenditure of every month. At the end, when I will be no more, after my old age, when I will be gone, what the bank will do, they will sell the property and they will reduce all the amount whichever was, they will reduce all the amount which they paid me. Okay, so मेरा काम भी हो गया, मुझे प्रॉपर्टी का ऐसा भी कोई लेना देना नहीं था, बैंक का काम भी हो गया. दिस इज स्कीम ऑफ रिवर्स मॉर्गेज. सो बेचारा वो आदमी टपकने के बाद जब वो प्रॉपर्टी आगे किसी को ट्रांसफर कर दी जाएगी, ऐसे केस में this will be not, बैंक को ट्रांसफर कर दी जाएगी, this will be not considered transfer, no capital gain. And the last, whenever a mutual fund gets what we say, consolidated with another mutual fund, if it is of same type, डेप्थ का डेप्थ के साथ, इक्विटी का इक्विटी के साथ, no problem, no transfer, no capital gain. लेकिन अदर टाइप के हो गए, डेप्थ का इक्विटी या इक्विटी डेप्थ के साथ, इट विल बी ट्रीटेड एज ट्रांसफर एंड कैपिटल गेन विल बी एप्लीकेबल. नाउ प्लीज रिमेंबर, इफ द डेप्थ के अलग अलग प्लान हो सकते हैं, इट कैन बी ग्रोथ प्लान, डिविडेंड प्लान एंड सो ऑन. If the growth plan gets with another debt ka growth plan, no problem. Only thing is that debt should not merge with the what we say, equity plan. So it should not go there, this should not go there. इसके अलावा कुछ भी करो, हमें कोई तकलीफ नहीं है. Okay, if this two goes there, here and there, the transfer will be taxable to capital gain. And if you do merge of your own in your own plan, no problem at all, no transfer, no capital gain would be there. So these are the 16 conditions. These are the 16 conditions in which they have simply said that no transfer, no capital gain. Now, again, I'm saying you do not need to ratify all the 16 conditions. What you need to do is that you try to remember all of them 16. So if any question comes to any particular of the 16 situation, it will be very clear for you to directly understand and get your remarks there connected. Okay, so let's quickly revise the 16 condition with me, guys. Come on, let's try to remember what were there. पहले तो देखो, एक डिमर्ज कंपनी का है, एक डिमर्ज के शेयर होल्डर का है, एक अमालगमेटेड कंपनी का, एक अमालगमेटेड के शेयर होल्डर का है. ओके, सब्सिडरी टू होल्डिंग, होल्डिंग टू सब्सिडरी, देखो 6 तो यहाँ पर ही हो गए. ओके, द लास्ट टू विच वी हैव सीन, म्यूचुअल फंड का एक रिवर्स मॉर्गेज का वी हैव सीन. Thereafter, एक गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज बाय नॉन रेसिडेंट टू अनदर नॉन रेसिडेंट, एक दूसरा है रूपी डिनोमिनेटेड बॉन्ड का, again by non-resident to another non-resident. Another is gold deposit bonds, and there are two more. One was preference share getting converted into equity share, or any other share get debenture converted into equity share. So say how many we finish? 2 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 13 तो हमारे हो गए इसके अंदर. अब 3 जो हमारे बच गए हैं वो कौन से है? एक तो सबसे पहले वाला गिफ्ट और विल, ठीक है. उसके बाद एचयूएफ का ऑन इम्पार्शियल एसेट, और तीसरा भी वहां पे ही था कुछ तो भी. अमालगमेटिंग तो हो गया, डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ कैपिटल एसेट हो गया, ट्रांसफर ऑफ कैपिटल, हाँ तीसरा म्यूजियम वाला था. Okay, so you can remember this in pairs. That would be easy for you. Gift, museum, and HUF. Okay, so these were all the 16 conditions when the transfer will be not regarded as transfer, and hence capital gain tax will be not applicable there. Everyone clear? Now, the most important part, five different, one, two, three, four, five different exemptions which are there for your CA intermediate. Section 54, Section 54B, 54D, EC, and F. Okay, so Section 54 is what? When you sell one RHP and you purchase another RHP. In this case, the RHP should be purchased a year before or 2 years later, or if in case of construction, it shall be done in 3 years. Okay, so this is section is there for 54. 54B कब है? जब आप when you do go for agriculture land, rural agriculture land, urban agriculture land, because rural agriculture land तो exempt रहेगी. Urban agriculture land अगर आप बेचते हो, उसकी जगह आप दूसरी कोई land लेते हो, then in that case again the exemption would be there. That there is a factory building. If factory building is get compulsory acquired and you invest into another factory building, this section 54D would be there. EC is for different bonds, that is NHAI bond, Rural Electrification Corporation के bond, Power Finance Corporation के bond. Okay, this the maximum limit is 50,000. इन सब के अंदर डिडक्शन कितना रहेगा? जितना भी आप नया सेट में इन्वेस्ट करोगे उतना पूरा आपको डिडक्शन मिलेगा, राइट? Further, this both are available to only individual and HUF. These both are available to any SSC. This is available to again only individual and HUF. Remember, further, this is for long term. This is only for long term. This is for long term as well as short term. This will again long term as well as short term. ये भी सिर्फ long term को है. Now, what is 54F? 54F says that you sell any long term capital asset other than RHP, because RHP तो आपने already यहाँ पे cover कर दिए, and you purchase a RHP. But when you purchase this, you should not have more than 2 RHP. 2 रहा तो चलेगा, more than 2 नहीं चलेगा. The capital gain would be proportionate. How proportionate? Net consideration upon net consideration नहीं. Capital cost of new asset upon net consideration into capital gain. Yes. Okay, this will be the exemption allowed to you. So these are your 5 exemptions: 54, 54B, 54D, 54EC, and 54E. Let me just see if I have the diagram with me, because I have drawn again this very nicely in my charts. अभी तो मैंने just revision के लिए ऐसे ही ले लिया है. यार, I should have seen this before यार. Shit. Just a second. हाँ, यहाँ पे भी खराबी ड्रॉ किया है मैंने. Wait a minute, just a second. Let me check if I have here. In my gallery, there was there most probably. Just give me a minute. Hmm. Just a second, let me check here. Yeah, it's here. Just a minute. Yes. Are you able to see it, guys? Are you able to see, guys? See, I have drawn it very nicely. So you can see here. First RHP to RHP for एक साल के पहले 2 साल तक या 3 साल तक. Okay. I'm not getting the one which I have drawn in my this notes application. So you just go through it. Second one was for agriculture land, plant to plant. Third one was factory building to factory building. Fourth one was land and building to any, you sold land and building and you purchase NHAI bonds, RAC bond, Power Finance Corporation bond, or IRFC bond. But this is maximum 50 lakhs. And the last one was house property छोड़ के कोई भी long term capital asset अगर आप बेचते हो और house property में invest करते हो, then again you will get the exemption, which is cost of new assets upon capital next consideration into capital gain. See, I have also mentioned there कौन सा कितना SSC को है, long term कौन सा है, short term कौन सा है. Either you take a screenshot of this or you just draw this with you guys. I'll be back in a minute. Just draw this with you. Let me know if you have any queries. हाँ कन्नड़ हाँ हाँ देखिए अभी नहीं 9 बजे राम सर विल बी कमिंग ना हाँ हाँ वो आते हैं 9 बजे वो आ जाएंगे Yes guys, are you able to hear me? सर ये जूम चालू कर दो ना सर 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 मेरे भाई सर वो जूम चालू करके जाओ ना जूम नहीं दिख रहा मुझे जूम जूम everyone done guys okay are you able to see me sorry are you able to also hear me guys okay let's go further so here there were section were given here for the details okay also one thing you remember please for MCQ question is also important that for section 54 EC आपने कोई भी bonds में invest किया है maximum 50 lakhs for there 50 lakhs will be there okay for any capital gain amount there further that if you are invested into such bonds and if you then thereafter give this bond for someone as a security in that case whatever amount is taxed to you that will be again been whatever amount was given as an exemption to you that will be again taxed. So please don't redeem these bonds. These bonds cannot be redeemed anyways, but it can't be given for as a security on a loan as well. Okay. Further. Mm, yeah. One more exemption is there. Exemption of capital gain in case of urban agriculture land. because rural agriculture land is not in capital asset itself, definition itself. So that is going to be anyways exempt every time. Okay. Now, what about urban agriculture land? If the SSC hold are individual and HUF, further, such agriculture land should be used for agriculture purpose for 2 years before the date of transfer. Consideration is determined by approved RBI or central government. By determined is or approved by RBI or central government. If you do this and you sell your urban agriculture land as well, you will get the get exemption under section 1037. Okay. Thereafter, see, now let's come to the taxation. The taxation of capital gains is divided into two parts. As I've said you, section 1 is for long-term capital gain, another is for short-term capital gain. The long-term capital gains are first let's talk about here. Long-term capital gain under section 112A for equity share, equity units and units of business trust. Up to 1 lakh, it is taxable at up to 1 lakh, it is exempt. Above 1 lakh, it will be taxable at flat 10%. Long-term capital gain share for equity shares, इक्विटी ओरिएंटेड यूनिट्स एंड यूनिट्स ऑफ बिजनेस ट्रस्ट 1 लाख रुपए तक एग्जम्प्ट है. 1 लाख के ऊपर जितना भी रहेगा, वॉट एवर अबाउ 1 लाख से 1,05,000 था मेरा, सो 5,000 विल बी टैक्स एट फ्लैट 10%. Where else? And yes, STD should be paid at the time of acquisition as well as transfer. Further, where else? Section 11, another section is here, cost of acquisition. The cost of acquisition of such shares will be taken as lower of fair market value as on 31st 1/18 और सेल वैल्यू whichever is lower. इसका हम लेंगे यहाँ पर यहाँ पर, और कॉस्ट ऑफ एक्विजिशन जो आपका एक्चुअली वो लेंगे. इन दोनों का जो भी हायर रहेगा वो आपका कॉस्ट ऑफ एक्विजिशन बनेगा. Once again, I'm repeating this. This is quite confusing thing. Here, what will happen? In case of equity share or business-oriented units or units of business trust referred in section acquired before 1/2/18. Okay, because 1/2/18 के पहले इक्विटी शेयर्स के जितना भी प्रॉफिट था पूरा एग्जाम था. उसके बाद उसको टैक्सेबल किया गया above 1 lakh. So now here to promote equity shares trading was that was done. So now here, further, see. What you take cost of acquisition, जो आपका whatever is your actual cost of acquisition, and then you compare this with fair market value as on 1/31/1/18 or sale value, whichever is your current sale value. Whichever will be lower of this, you will put it next step, and whichever will be higher of this, that will be your final cost of acquisition. So there are two steps into calculating cost of acquisition. One, lower of fair market value as on 31st 1st 18 or sale value, you take it outside. Two, cost of acquisition, or one you have calculated right now. So you can write it down like this. Step 1. Step 1, fair market value as 31st 1/18 or sale value, whichever is lower. Okay. Step 2, actual cost of acquisition, or step 2, whichever is higher, will be your actual cost of acquisition for capital gains. Simple. Fair market value or sale value, whichever is lower, and this, and cost of acquisition, whichever is higher. Everything clear? Write down with you if you want to. So this will be used for section 112A, long-term capital gain on equity share, equity units and units of business trust. Please also remember here, guys, that if long-term is there, then excess of 1 lakh 10%, up to 10 lakhs, up to 1 lakhs nothing, excess of 1 lakh 10%. If the capital gain of 111111A, that is in case of it is short-term capital gain, in that case it is taxable at flat 15%. Benefit concession rate of 15% available in transaction under the foreign currency recognized stock exchange. IFSC में आपको भी मिलेगा ये. Even flat 15% if STT and STT is paid. But if you acquire this from IFSC, there is no concept of STT, तो वहाँ पे आपको मिल जाएगा. So now pay attention. So for equity share, equity oriented units, units of business trust. If it is long term, 112A is applicable. If it is short term, 111A is applicable. This is taxable at flat 15%. This is taxable as up to 1 lakh nothing. Above 1 lakh at 10%. Everyone clear? Only thing is that, remember, STT should be paid. दिस इज द टैक्सेशन ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर थिंग, इक्विटी शेयर एंड इक्विटी यूनिट। इसके अलावा जो भी शॉर्ट टर्म कैपिटल गेन है दैट विल गो अंडर योर स्लैब रेट्स, and whichever are long term capital gain that will be taxed at flat 20%. So see, short term capital gain is going at slab rate. So someone having income of more than 5-10 lakhs rupees, it will be taxed at slab rates. जो भी slab rate रहेगा उस पे रहेगा आपका. Everyone clear? Done? Okay, see here the difference is given. You can take the screenshot of this difference. See, STD must be paid at time of acquisition and sale. For 112A, there is no such condition. This is for long-term capital gain normally for equity share, unit of equity oriented units and units of business trust. No chapter 6 deduction available. No chapter 6 deduction available are there. They are flat. Above 1 lakh 10, above 1 lakh 10%. 20% with indexation, 10% without indexation. Rebate benefit not available. Rebate benefit not available here as well. Benefit of unexhausted basic exemption limit available only to resident. Unexhausted basic exemption available to all. Now, what is unexhausted basic exemption limit? So, for example, if I have an income of 2 lakhs from total, okay, from all other thing, and other than long-term capital gain, and my basic exemption is what, guys? 2.5 lakh. So, what is unexhausted basic exemption? जो मैंने basic exemption limit use नहीं की है, that is how much, guys? 50,000. So, this can be set off here only if I am resident. Here, it can be always be set off. Again, understand, section 112A or section 112 income you leave aside. After leaving this aside, if there is some basic exemption limit remaining, that is known as unexempted, that is known as unexhausted basic exemption. This can be used for the long-term capital gain under section 112A if I am resident, and for 112A, 112, it can be always used. So if, for example, someone is of age of 85 years, उसका income कितना, उसका basic exemption कितना रहेगा? 5 lakhs. Other than this income, say he has 3 lakhs. So how much is unexhausted basic exemption? 2 lakhs, which you can use here if he is resident, here always. Everyone clear? Okay. So this is your complete revision of your capital gain chapter. Okay. I also wanted to take your income from other sources for this session, but unfortunately, as we have started it late, I'm not able to go for income from other sources. So that we will take it tomorrow. Okay. But now for the third chapter was there. There was exempt income, one chapter was there, which part is given in study material at different levels. So just let me go through it. It's hardly 10 minutes part which is remaining because agriculture का जो main part था वो हमने already कर दिया है. Yeah. Income that do not form part of total income. So agriculture is already done. Now again also remember please, agriculture income which includes rent from revenues from agriculture land in India used for agriculture purpose. So if I give my agriculture land to anyone for agriculture only and they give me rent, this rent is tax free. In agriculture income you'll add it. But if agriculture land is used for shooting, movie shooting, taxable. Non-agriculture land used for agriculture and rent, taxable. Because its condition is very clear. Agriculture land in India for agriculture. Nepal वगैरह का दिया तो नहीं चलेगा. Sale of any agriculture produce that you know on which the only basic operations are being applied. Rent from building required for agriculture purpose. If you are given any dwelling house or anything which is in your agriculture, not farmhouse, dwelling house or anyone on agriculture land for agriculture purpose जो भी use करते हैं उनके लिए, even that is exempt. And income from nursery. These 4 incomes are considered as agriculture income and they are exempt. But as I've shared with you on the first lecture itself, it increases your total slabs. How it increases? I shared with you in the steps. टी कॉफी रबर का तो हमने कर लिया है. टी कॉफी का रेट कितना रहेगा? 60-40. रबर का रहेगा आपका 35-70-65 और ग्रोन एंड क्योर्ड कॉफी का रहेगा आपका 25-75. Always remember the higher one are your agriculture income. Further, if you want to write down this agriculture income ka, the formulas, you can write down here. You can take a screenshot of this. Thereafter, let's go to further. Which incomes are exempt income? Income share received by member of HUF are exempt because HUF pays the tax. So whatever share the member get it, it's absolutely exempt in their hands. Income share by partner from partnership firm. Now, please attention. Pay attention. Partnership firm pays two things. One is sharing profit. Another is remuneration. Remuneration ke they have given a limit. If you pay above that, that will be disallowed and added back to your profit. Okay. And once your profit is there, you pay the tax, and then after tax, whatever is profit, you distribute to the shareholder. So as already partnership firm has paid the tax, it is exempt in the hands of shareholder. Okay. इंटरेस्ट मनी स्टैंडिंग इन द क्रेडिट ऑफ एनआरई अकाउंट. कोई भी एनआरई अकाउंट हमारे इंडिया में पैसा रखता है संभाल कर, उसके ऊपर जो भी इंटरेस्ट आता है, इट इज एग्जाम्ड. रेम्यूनरेशन रिसीव्ड बाय फॉरेन डिप्लोमेट, कंसुलेट एंड देयर स्टाफ. Okay, further. If any foreign diplomats or staff, we pay the remuneration to them. Foreign diplomat or consulate and their staff, if they have been paid the remuneration. Now, if you remember, in the first chapter, second, third chapter, we have seen that residential status कि जब कभी भी किसी को इंडिया में काम करने के लिए सैलरी दी जाएगी, it will be deemed to be accrued in India, right? But we are excluding certain people. Whenever foreign staff, foreign government people, foreign consulate are working in India and they are being paid salary from their government, that will be not included in their salary income in India. But if they are doing some other business, that will be included in India. Okay, because see, even when our government is paying salary to our people working diplomats outside India, it's taxable in India, if you remember. Okay, similarly, if any foreign enterprise worker works in India up to 90 days, कोई foreign enterprise का worker इंडिया में आके काम कर रहा है 90 days तक, तो no taxable. Above 90 days, it will be taxable. Salaries received by or due in service rendered connection with employment for foreign ships. Again, कोई foreign ships में भी करेगा up to 90 days, not taxable. Above 90 days, it will be deemed to be accrued in India. Thereafter, further, income from royalty fees from technical rendered service outside India to the NTRO, it is exempt. If you receive any royalty fees from NTRO outside India, that will be clearly exempt. Payments to Bhopal gas victim, again one other important thing. Compensation received on account of disaster from central government, state government or local authority. Disaster means any natural catastrophe, mishap, whatever it may happen. But only by central government, state government and local authority. Many times question has been given into your examination and they ask you that the compensation was given by local NGO, that will be taxable. Only by government, then and then only it will be not taxable. Payment in case of Samruddhi Sukanya Samruddhi scheme, educational scholarship, payments of MPs, MLA for daily and constituency allowance. Salaries of MP, MLA will be taxable in income from other source, and whatever allowances they get it, that will be fully exempt. Awards for literacy, scientific research from government will be exempt. Pension, another important thing. Pension received by individual who have been service of central and state government and has awarded Paramveer Chakra, Mahavir Chakra, Veer Chakra. ऐसे लोगों को अगर हम जो भी पेंशन देते हैं, this pension will be absolutely untaxable. Please remember this very non-taxable. Please remember this very nicely because we have learned in pension. If pension is uncomputed, received during the month, it is fully taxable. That's what we have learned. But in this case, it will be absolutely not taxable because these guys are Paramveer Chakra, Mahavir Chakra, Veer Chakra awardees. Okay. Further, income which accrues or arises to the Sikkimese individual would be exempt from income tax. By not only saving account, see, not only the income from any source, but also by dividend or interest. Dividend, interest और कोई भी source से Sikkimese individual अगर सिक्किम में कमा रहा है, so no tax he has to pay here. But however, a Sikkimese woman marries to another man who is non-Sikkimese after 1 April 2008, then this exemption would be withdrawn for that particular person or woman. Now, next section 10AA exemption, which is for special economic zone. Again, very important because sometimes a 4-mark question comes depending absolutely upon this only. What is this exemption? This exemption is that whenever you have started any entity in special economic zone, what is special economic zone? You know what is special economic zone? पहले मुझे yes or no बताओ. Yes, guys, do you know what is special economic zone? Okay, so it is an area in India which has been specially treated as special economic zone, which has been made so that all people can export from this area with availability of all infrastructure here. Okay, so now when this is made for the all export purpose, so we say that please come and have your organization here. If you have it here, then for the first 5 years, your 100% of export profit will be exempt. First 5 years, 100% of export profit absolutely exempt. For next 5 years, 50% of your export profit will be absolutely exempt. उसके बाद जो अगले 5 years रहेंगे, मतलब सी फ्रॉम फर्स्ट टू 5th year 100%, फ्रॉम 6th to 10th year 50%, 10th to 15th year It would be amount debited to P&L account, credited to reinvestment allowance reserve because now you are old. Please put some amount in reinvestment allowance reserve, or 50% of export profit, whichever is lower, will be allowed to you as a deduction. Okay. Now, what is export profit? Export profit is proportional profit of export. मतलब आपका जो भी total profit है, whatever is your PGBP profit, you multiply this with the export turnover upon total turnover. So proportional export profit, whatever would be there, will be allowed as deduction. For the first 5 year, 100% of this. Next 5 year, 50% of this. Uske next 5 year, 50% of this, or whatever amount you are crediting in the reinvestment allowance reserve. Also remember, whatever amount you are crediting here in reinvestment allowance reserve shall be invested into new plant and machinery within 3 years. ऐसा नहीं किया तो ये जो भी amount you have taken as a deduction, it will be taxable in the 4th year, in the 3rd year itself, because 3rd year we know now you have done anything, and while return filing you have to add back into your income. Very important and very interesting section. 10AA, please remember this, as section is also very simple, 10 number is also very simple. Okay, just go through it. Ask me if you have any queries, guys. Yes, any queries regarding this, guys? No? Okay, so please remember this very nicely. Okay, for the first 5 years, 100% of export profit. Next 5 years, 50% of export profit. For the next 5 years, the balance 50%, or the credit you do it. Okay, remember, what is your export profit is nothing but the total PGBP multiplied by export turnover upon total turnover. Okay, also remember this turnover, whichever you are saying na export turnover, it should be realized within 6 months or as per allowed by the RBI. नहीं तो ऐसा पता चला कि आपने एक्सपोर्ट तो बहुत किया, पैसा तो कुछ मिला ही नहीं आपको. Okay, and also one more condition. Wait a minute. हाँ नहीं, वो ये कंडीशन थी. Further, as I've said you, whatever amount you credit here in the reinvestment allowance reserve, that has to be invested within 3 years. If not done, so 3rd year it will be taxable, whatever exemption you took. Okay, that's it. And the last section of this chapter, section 14A, expenditure incurred on relation to exempt income. Now see, whatever expenditure you do to earn exempt income should be not allowed to you, right? बिकॉज आपकी इनकम को हमने टैक्सेबल नहीं किया तो उसका एक्सपेंडिचर हम आपको क्यों अलाउ करें. सो सेक्शन 14(8) did allow ask you for the taking disallowance for the expenditure you have done for earning the exempt income which you already taken into your PGBP. So you please disallow this. Take section 14(a) का disallowance here. Now section 14(a) का disallowance, if it is directly attributable, you take it. If it is not directly attributable, what you do is, see, pay attention. अमाउंट ऑफ एक्सपेंस डायरेक्टली अट्रिब्यूटेबल वो तो लो, उसके अलावा टेक 1% ऑफ एनुअल एवरेज ऑफ मंथली एवरेज ऑफ योर ओपनिंग एंड क्लोजिंग बैलेंस ऑफ योर इन्वेस्टमेंट विच योर इन्वेस्टमेंट इज एग्जम्प्ट. उसका मंथली ओपनिंग क्लोजिंग बैलेंस का एवरेज लो, ऐसे पूरे 12 महीने का एवरेज लो, उसका 1% यू टेक एज ए डिसअलाउंस. दिस विल बी सेक्शन 14(a) का डिसअलाउंस विच विल टेक इनटू योर calculation computation of income for your income tax purpose. Everything clear? So this were certain what we say. Have you learned 14(a) before? Yes, Semi, yes or no? Have you learned 14(a) before? 14(a) disallowance, have you learned it before or not? No? Pay attention. See what it exactly means. Whenever my income is chargeable to tax, uske liye whatever expenditure I do, that we allow you to deduct from your profit. Okay? So whenever my income will be exempt, uske upar ka expenditure, why we should allow you? That should be not allowed to you. Right or not? Because you are not paying tax on this income. This is exempt income. So this expenditure done for earning such exempt income shall be not also not allowed. Right, everyone clear? That's the basic understanding behind this. So whatever is direct attributable expenditure, उसको तो आप disallow कर दो. उसके अलावा if there is any investment, okay, which is exempt, investment जिसके ऊपर का आपको जो भी मिलता पैसा वो exempt है. तो what you do is that every month, so starting from April, May, June, July, August, September, October, every month का opening closing लो, opening closing, you do the average of this for all the months, और ऐसे पूरे 12 महीने का एवरेज कर लो, multiplied by 1%. This is the amount you have to take as a disallowance under section 14(a). Okay, I don't feel it will be there for you to do a solved question upon this until unless your exam has to be very difficult. Okay, but you remember certain thing is like that. For your MC question is also very important. So any expenditure done to earn exempt income, you can write this sentence. Everyone please write this sentence with you. Let me see if I can type it for you here. Wait a minute. Yeah, I can type it. I am typing it for you. So just copy down with you guys. Just a minute. Any expenditure done to earn exempt income is not allowed as deduction under section 14A. ठीक है, थोड़ा ग्रामेटिकल मिरर मिस्टेक होगी, वो चेक कर लेना आप लोग. Everyone clear? Okay, with this, let's end our session. Tomorrow at 3:30, we'll continue with income from other source, and then we'll go for each of chapter. So tomorrow full day, I feel that we'll go income tax only, and then day after tomorrow, we'll do the full day for GST. Okay, that's it. Let's stop here. Bye bye. Take care. I'm there for next 2 minutes. If you have any queries, please ask me. If you have no queries, then see you. Enjoy. Sleep well. We'll see you tomorrow on the same time. Welcome, Madhu, Madhav. Yes, it is important. Yashwas, I'll check that if I can take that tomorrow. Okay, Anuraj, bye bye. Yes, Rashmita, welcome, bye bye. यस, अच्छा मैं यहाँ से एंड कर दूँ क्या मीटिंग? हाँ, अभी क्या ही बचा है. यस.